Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on how to stop being cynical. Now, I'm just going to give you the 101 on how to be confident, okay? Lots of misconceptions, lots of false confidence, and lots of interesting advice out there on how to be confident. I definitely was not like the best in school. I didn't have that to give me a sense of confidence in myself. Where I did have confidence though was my social skills. I was always very, very social, and I grew up with like a unibrow. I grew up with glasses and braces. I had no reason, like I genuinely had no reason externally to be confident. But internally, I loved my personality. I was always funny. The way that I'm funny now has definitely changed. I definitely take a more laugh with than laugh at approach, because when I was younger, I definitely just wanted people to laugh at me, as well as with me, but I was just like, give me some sort of attention, like I don't really care, whatever. Give me something to work with. Wherever that stemmed from, it definitely wasn't like a healthy thing to think. But I did that, and it did make me feel confident when other people would laugh at me or with me, because they did see me as funny, even if it was like a class clown kind of funny. Now, that is not something I would strive for today. I would strive for being able to read the room and tell jokes tailored to certain audiences. You have to think of yourself as a comedian. Like, what kind of script are you working with? Are you pulling from the world around you, that material? Are you making tasteful jokes? Are you doing it in the right time? Is your comedic timing right? Like, there are so many things that can go into being funny. It's like an art, and it's intelligence is a huge part of it too. You want to be someone who has a well-rounded education of the world, so you can make tasteful jokes, and so you can make people laugh who probably wouldn't laugh at something else. You got to know your audience in that way. So definitely wasn't the most competent of a child in terms of a lot of things, not just socially but behaviorally, academically. Was never the favorite child, so I didn't have a lot going for me that would really make sense for me to be as confident as a child as I was. I do think that I didn't really understand the concept of false confidence. I definitely didn't have it, because I do remember being a very socially extroverted child. Now, that being extroverted can be confused with being confident, okay? And I think the biggest example that I can give you is, the loud, annoying child in the back of the classroom who's just screaming all the time, not saying anything of substance, but just blah, 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 blah. And you think they're confident because they're really loud, but really, it's just a way to get attention. And it's just, if someone can be loud, they're loud. It doesn't automatically translate into confidence, because real confidence is knowing exactly who you are, how you would act in certain situations, your place in your relationships, friendships, romantic, what kind of daughter are you, what kind of sister are you, and what are you going to do in this world, and how are you going to get there, and trusting yourself. Are you someone who makes promises to yourselves and keep them? That's what confidence is. Confidence is also a way that you carry yourself. When people are like, oh yeah, she walks really tall and she's got good posture and she speaks really slowly and she has a nice voice, that is all confidence. People do not walk with their shoulders back and walk tall and walk with a sense of purpose if they're not coming from a place of secureness and confidence. Sometimes it can be arrogance. It's like there's like a scale going from like insecure to confident to arrogant. So just because you see someone exhibiting traits that confident people do, it doesn't always mean they're confident. A lot of the time, especially people in positions of power, yeah, they can be confident because they have a reason to be, but then it translates into arrogance, and you never want that because people love confident people. They don't love arrogant people. And the people who don't love confident people are normally projecting onto you because you have what they want. When you're young, it can be really hard to have a valid sense of self and valid sense of security. You might think that you do, but it takes years and it's a complex process. Like, you have to rewire deep internal behaviors and thoughts for you to actually present yourself as a confident being in the world that you are in. You have to be able to know exactly why you're walking into a room, what you're going to get out of it, and how other people are going to feel around you. And that is confidence. So the key to being confident is to just know yourself and know your place. And that's ever changing, and it's up to you. So there comes trusting yourself, trusting that you're able to cultivate a world for yourself that you want to be in, and you don't have to rely on other people to do that. And it's hard in childhood to do that because you are relying on your parents and you're in situations that you don't want to be in, i.e. school, i.e. taking tests, i.e. in classrooms of people that you don't like, and you can't maneuver yourself away from those places as easily as you can when you're an adult, where you purposefully bring yourself into the rooms that you want to be in. When you're an adult, your definition of confidence definitely changes, even if you're a confident child. Because, like I said, you can mistake other things for confidence, and sometimes things can translate into you feeling confident, but are you actually confident? I.e., so when I was a child and I was letting other people laugh at me and just doing stupid things so they would think I'm funny, to me now, I would not look at that and say, yeah, that was confident. But the act of me being an extrovert definitely helped other people think I was confident. It does depend how it's done though. If it's done in a loud, obnoxious way, it's often coming from a place of insecurity where people feel that they need to prove it to other people. But real confidence is quiet. Have you ever noticed that the most important person at a table is the last one to speak? Everyone gives their opinion. A couple seconds later, big boss over here is solidifying the conversation with their opinion. Like, you don't need to prove yourself to people. You don't need to be the first one to have an opinion on something to be right. You know you're right. That's it. Like, other people can think what they want. You don't have to force your opinions or force your ideas onto other people for it to be correct. It's the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. That's another thing. Confident people, because they're sure of themselves and their ideas, and they have understood why they think those things and why they behave in the way that they do, and they intentionally curate behaviors and situations for themselves, they don't feel the need to force their own ideas onto other people. They don't. Like, why would you need to? Like, why? Unless someone has a fundamentally disastrous take on something, you can just hear it and let it fly over you. You don't need to accept it, because people who don't want to listen are not going to hear you. They're not going to hear you. And confident people understand that and they accept it because it's not their issue. Just let them. Just let them. You know who you are. You don't need to force other people to agree with you, because a lot of the time they're not going to. And if you really, really think that someone is in the wrong, use persuasive language. Like, don't be like, no, it's black. Just be like, I don't really think it's white. And they'll be like, could it be black? Huh, there you go. Persuade people. And no matter how confident you are in your sense of self, external confidence often does come with a great sense of social awareness, because it's like the tree in the forest thing. Would anyone know that the tree like fell over if they didn't hear it? Does anyone know that you're confident if anyone's not there to see it? And that's not to say that you need to go prove to people that you're confident, or you need to like show up in situations and show that you're confident. But it does help you understand if you were actually confident when you're in rooms with other people, and then you see how you act and how you show up in certain situations, especially the tough ones where people might be presenting opinions that you don't agree with. And it's completely okay actually for you to disagree with your friends on certain things. Although I will say, if you find you're disagreeing with your friends on a lot of things, maybe evaluate the friendship, because there are some fundamental things that if you disagree on, I don't know how deep the friendship can get because you're not on the same page, and then that might bleed into other schools of thoughts that you guys have together, and then your conversations might clash, and then animosity and stuff might build up. But that's neither here or there. Confidence is competence is something that I heard Bella Dane propose on her podcast, and I absolutely love her, and that notion stopped me in my tracks, because up until then I did think that confidence was just something that you were just born with, that you naturally had. And if we take that idea and we run with it, there's absolutely no harm in feeding your competence, your social confidence, your academic competence, your political competence, your knowledge of facets of the world, because it's only going to make you more confident when you're in rooms. Like, no matter who you're with, if you're with the president or if you're with your brother, you know, if you're well versed in all aspects of the world, you will feel like you're able to converse, not in a didactic way, but just if it ever came up, you know that you have that information at your fingertips, and knowledge is power. So I do agree with the idea, and I do think that you can be born as a person who feels confident, but having competence makes you confident, not just someone who feels confident. So I have taken it upon myself to make sure that I'm listening to articles. I put it through text to speech because I don't like to read it because it doesn't process in my brain as well as me listening to it. So I'll put it through text to speech, articles, podcasts, everything from neuroscience to philosophy. Immerse yourself in anything that you find interesting. There are definitely topics that bleed into the majority of conversations you might have with people, but take it upon yourself to research as a hobby, because smart people are always confident. Have you noticed that? And sometimes arrogant. You never want to do it from an arrogant point of view. You should not ever be arrogant. You should be grateful that you have the ability and the capability to learn, and that you have the resources to learn. So gratitude makes people confident as well, because by noticing everything you have, by focusing on it, i.e. I have a healthy body and I have 2 healthy legs that can take me from A to B and that can do everything human body needs to do, thank God I do not need to like rely on someone to take me from here to the kitchen, or from here to the laundry room. Like, I can do it myself. Like, how lucky am I that I have lungs that work healthily enough, and I have a brain that can process conversations properly, and I have a mind that's curious. Like, just be grateful and root yourself in the things that you have and that you were born with. All you need is air in your lungs and a healthy body. Everything else is a gift. And the biggest gift of all is having a body that's capable of doing anything to do with those gifts. So really center yourself, and you have to truly be grateful for it. And I had to teach myself how to do this. Like, you can't do it in a superficial way. Like, don't do it in a way where like you write it down and you're like, gratitude journal. Like, no, like fully realize that some people don't have this. Some people don't have clean water, but what do you have? You have an abundance of clean water that you can drink, clean water that you can shower with, clean water that you can clean your dishes with, your clothes with. And not just you, but your friends and your family as well. So knowing what you have makes you confident. And not in a materialistic way, but in a grateful way. Yeah, bitch. There's also confidence in doing. Just doing. I am a researcher at heart. I love to think about things. I love to analyze things. I love to critically evaluate things. But just doing it, i.e., instead of evaluating the film you watched, take the lessons from that, sure, think about it, and then apply it to the next film you make. Just, you have to do it, because just being able to do something with your own two hands will give you confidence like nothing else will. Like, you could think for 100 days in a row, and you could use different schools of thoughts, different structures of thoughts, and you could have a pretty well-rounded mind from doing that. But one day of actually doing it, making it, will teach you a number of different things, and it will teach you most of all that you can do it. Because I think a lot of people think that when they think about things that they're doing it or that they're able to do it. And it's definitely great to think before you do, but make sure that you do. There's so much confidence from doing something. There is definitely a bias in human beings to play it safe and research rather than just do, because there's no risk with researching, but there's a risk with doing, i.e. failure. You can't really fail at research unless you're researching something that's really unless you're researching something that hasn't been researched before and you're the first one to ever do it, whatever. But just do. Just prove to yourself, and it doesn't even have to be shared with anyone else, but just prove to yourself that you can do it. That's another thing. Keep things for yourself. You don't always have to prove to other people or show other people what you're doing. It can be fun, of course, to like share things with your parents. I'm big on sharing things with my parents because I like to show them that I am changing as a person and that I'm growing as a person and that I'm being productive, because my parents really emphasized me being productive. And productive can be explained in a lot of different ways, but however you feel productive, just make sure you're doing things that honor that. Just making sure that you're getting up every day and doing things in the steps of the direction of the life that you want to live in is going to make you feel more confident than ever. Like, you have to have a direction and purpose in life to feel confident, I think, as well as having a sense of self, because I think having a sense of self helps you realize where you're going to be. And if you don't know where you're going to be, you're sort of just floating around like a needle in a haystack. Like, the needle could be the shiniest, toughest thing in the whole haystack, but where's it going? Like, it's just lost. Like, you need to know where you're going, find out where you're going, and it doesn't have to be written in stone. Like, just take a direction and go with it. Just throw things at a wall and see what sticks, just as long as you're doing something. Never ever sit inside the house all day without a thing to do. I've had days in rows where I sit in and I learn and it's okay because you're learning. But if you're just sitting and you're doing nothing, how are you going to feel confident? Give yourself time to rest, for sure, and take it seriously. Like, if you're resting and you feel like working, no, you're resting. Take it as seriously as the work. Take your play as seriously as the work too. Know that you're someone who can do it all, that you're someone who can play, you can work, you can rest, you can do it all 100%. So, and you do that by being present in things. You don't think about other things while you're doing something. So you're focusing on the people around you. You're truly listening to what they're saying. You're not thinking about what you're going to say next. You're listening to them. You're asking follow-up questions. How, what, when, where, why. Open-ended questions, not questions that can be answered with yes or no. You're there because there's a whole other being in front of you. Don't you want to learn? Don't you want to learn what they have to say, the life that they've lived, the lessons they have to give you? And definitely, like, yeah, whatever. And another thing with confidence is I always get the compliment, you look so put together. I don't know what the fuck that means. Like, I don't really know what they mean when they say that, but a lot of people say that to me, so I started to like think about what they actually mean, and one day I just asked them like, oh, thanks, like, what do you mean though? like when a close friend says it. Because another thing with confidence is when someone gives you a compliment, accept it at face value. Don't be like, oh no, like, no, actually, you would never know the day I had. Like, I had such a busy day and this is just something I threw on. Like, just take the compliment and be like, thank you. You know, you don't want to seem like you're not confident when someone's giving you a compliment. So just take it. But one day, yeah, when I said to my close friend, like, what do they mean, like, I look put together? And they're like, well, your outfit's always done, your hair's always done, your makeup's always done. If you have those 3 things, at least if you've done your skincare, at least if your hair is put back neatly, at least if your outfit is sensible and reasonable for the occasion, yeah, you can look put together and you feel more put together and then you feel more confident. So yeah, be good to yourself and love yourself, give yourself grace. First thing about being confident is having a good relationship with yourself. Know what you like, know what you're good at. Train yourself to be educated and want to be educated and want to be curious. Start from being curious about things, how, what, when, where, why. Know what kind of person you are. You can always change yourself. If you're someone who snaps easily, train yourself to be calm. Learn emotional intelligence. You can do it all. You can learn anything you want to be, anything you don't like about yourself, you can change it. You just have to want to do it for yourself and for the life that you're going to live once you've done that. One of the most important parts that I've practiced so much that I actually forgot to even talk about because it's become so innate now is that when you get to know yourself really well and you start acting like the person that you want to become and you change habits you don't like and you basically just change yourself for the better, whether that's through habits, through schools of thought, through the way that you carry yourself, all of those things. A byproduct of that is that you don't care what other people think of you. People are always going to have thoughts. Would you rather that they judge you because of things that you're doing or things that you were too scared to do? Things that you were too embarrassed to do? Would you rather they judge you because you had courage and you were brave, or because you didn't do something and you were embarrassed and scared? Oh, she doesn't do anything, she's a nobody. Or she's brave and she puts herself out there. So when you get to become really sure of yourself, you're like a solid rock. Like nothing anyone says starts to bother you because you know it's not about you at that point. Because you know who you are. It's about them. And they're projecting things onto you, or they just want something to talk about. Misery breeds company, people. So just know it's not about you. And you know it's not about you because you know yourself. And that's the biggest lesson of them all. Placement is a very important thing. So imagine you're in a room where you're with people that you love, you're talking about things that you want to talk about, and you know what your place is in that room. Versus you walk into a room full of losers and who don't know who they are, who only care about going out, who don't have a career built for themselves, who don't have finance plans set for themselves, who are just floating around life. Which one do you think you're going to be more appreciated in? And you might think the latter because you might think you have something to teach them, or you might think that they might appreciate like a good source. But no, people like what people know. If people don't know grace and sensibility and productivity, they're gonna resent it because they don't have it and they don't know how to get it. Because if they knew how to get it, they'd be doing it. Because why else would you, unless you don't have the resources, unless the plan that you have created entails a wide variety of resources, which it shouldn't. It should be as simple as, if you want to work on your mind, you start meditating and all you need is you and focusing on your breath. Like, it could be as simple as that. And I'm fanning myself because I just did my makeup and I'm trying to let it set and it's boiling in here. So intentionally put yourself in rooms of people that you like and that you want to be like. You never want to be the smartest person in the room. That's very true. So be very careful of your surroundings because a tough wind will take the toughest soldier out. Bella Dane also said this. She said you could be the best piece of cheesecake or pie in the world and if someone doesn't like pie, it's not because of you, it's just you're not for them. You could be the best piece of pie in the whole world and they still don't want you. That's okay, you're just not for them. Aren't you better that you figured it out quickly rather than later on? Okay, and we all have days. We have days where we don't feel very confident doing things, i.e. things out of our comfort zone. For example, doing karaoke in a very busy bar, or your friend wants to go skydiving for her birthday and you don't really feel like getting the wind taken out of you. That's okay. People have things that bring them comfort and things that they feel more confident doing. That's an entirely different issue than being a confident person. And it's not even an issue, it's down to personality at that point. And if you want to skydive and you're scared, again, the brain is neuroplastic, you can change that. You can get to the root cause of how skydiving works, how it's done, so you know what the behind the scenes of what's going on. So you know the potential of things that could go wrong or things that make skydiving work. So it takes a lot of the fear out of the equation because the unknown is now known. So just, again, be curious, and if you want to change, there's always the chance to. You just got to take it upon yourself. And energy is a big thing. Your energy is definitely one of your biggest currencies. So don't spend your energy, like I said, in rooms that you don't want to be in, with people you don't want to be in. It's difficult because sometimes you don't have a choice, i.e. with school. Sometimes I did not want to be in the maths classroom, but I had to be. So then you've got to just encourage yourself. You've got to think of all the reasons why it will be productive for you to be there. And then you actually got to apply it. And you've got to know, again, that some people don't have the chance to learn this, and that by learning this, I'll be able to go to university. Like, I have to learn this to be able to pass my exams, to go to university I want to be able to study what I want, to be able to get the job that I want. So you've got to bring perspective into things as well. But if it's something that you can control, i.e. if maths was optional and you don't want to take it, don't fucking take it unless you need to. Unless it's vital for your career, or you like truly haven't learned enough maths that you actually need to learn it. If you're just there because you don't know what else to take, change it. Go do something else because you want to be happy. Happiness is definitely a big part of being confident. If you're stroppy and moppy and espresso depresso all the time, how can you be confident? Because unless external factors are what's making you unhappy and you truly cannot change them, i.e. the maths classroom, again, just find the perspective and try and make yourself happy out of it. Find some gratitude in doing it and that will make you happy. But with happiness, you can be happy by doing things that make you happy, i.e. painting, i.e. going out with your friends, good friends. Did a whole episode on friendship. If you're around losers, you won't be confident. You are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So yeah, but again, number one most important thing is knowing yourself, learning about yourself, and knowing who you are. That's how you get confident. Be good to yourself. Okay, love you guys, bye.